Hello dear students and welcome back to the video lectures of Social Science for class 8th. Here I am providing you the video lecture of History, chapter number 1, that is the British rule in India. Students, this is part 1 of this chapter. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the periodization of Indian history. That means we will learn about the division of Indian history, beginning of the modern era in India, as previously in class 6th and 7th we have already learned about the ancient as well as the medieval period. Here in this class we will be learning about the modern period. We will learn some new concept as colonialism, imperialism and colony. So before starting the chapter, let's have a quick view on the content. So in this chapter we are going to learn about introduction, significance of dates and events, starting of modern period, periodization of Indian history, shortcomings of James Mill's periodization, colonization and colony. So let's start the chapter. As I have explained you that this year we are going to learn about, or in your class 8th you will be learning about the modern period of the Indian history. So it is important to know about that when the modern period of the Indian history started. Modern period of India is generally categorized after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707. As you have already learned about the Mughal Empire in class 7th, and we have seen that the Mughal Empire was also divided into two divisions. The first was the era of the early Mughals, those who were the strong Mughals, those who were the powerful rulers, in which we have Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan. Last was Aurangzeb. Last great Mughal was Aurangzeb. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire started declining and the power of the Mughal rulers started weakens. And we have already learned, or we are already knowing from the ancient period only, our India was the important trading center for cotton textile, silk, spices and many other products. There was huge demand of the Indian products in the foreign markets. During 16th and 17th century, when the Industrial Revolution began in the European countries. Now what is Industrial Revolution? Industrial Revolution, that is the revolution, that means that the changes that have started occurring in the field of industries due to for increasing the production, lots of changes has been made in the field of industries, like introduction of machineries, introduction of factory system and many more things has introduced. Okay? So the trades from those countries, since Industrial Revolution took place in the European countries, so that is why the traders from those European countries started moving towards India and the eastern part of the world for fulfilling their demand of raw materials. The first Europeans were the Portuguese, who came to India in the year 1498 from the sea route, and that sea voyage was led by Vasco da Gama. Already we are knowing that the first European power that came to India for the purpose of trade was Vasco da Gama. Previously also many foreigners or Europeans came to India, but they do not have acquired, they came from the land route. Vasco da Gama was the first, who discovered the sea route to India. They were followed by, and after Vasco da Gama or after the Portuguese, they were followed by the British. After that the Dutch came, the French came, and after the death of Aurangzeb, the later Mughals were the successors and could not hold upon the Indian territories, and their power weakens day by day. The Mughal emperor like Jahangir and Aurangzeb had already provided the trading rights to the trading companies. That means those rulers like Aurangzeb and Jahangir have given the trading rights or trade concessions to the European countries to increase the foreign trade in India. These trading companies started settling their trading posts and factories in the coastal regions of India. Since they came from the sea route, so that is why they used to settle near the coastal regions only. So the arrival of 4 European companies creates competition in the market. Every country tried to be superior and wanted to establish their own control over the Indian trade. This competition among the trading companies resulted in conflict among them. All the 4 powers, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British and the French power, started conflicting among themselves to establish them as a superior power or as a superior trading company in India. They indulge in various battles also with each other, okay, but the English East India Company or the British Trading Company became successful in defeating their French rivals, okay. At last, French and Britishers were the most powerful among all the four powers. They have fight or battles among themselves. Those battles were known as Carnatic battles, okay. Now after the Carnatic battles, Britishers became the most successful, okay. About all these battles and the changes that was made by the Britishers, we are going to learn about in history this year. But before learning about it, it is more important to learn that what is history, okay. What is the importance of dates in history and what is the importance of events in the history? Like all of us are knowing that, or you people also say that history is boring, there are lots of dates, we have to learn all those dates, okay. Like, and we have to learn history with respect of dates also as well as with respect of events also. As all of you are knowing that if someone asks you what is history, you will simply say that history is the study of the past. But is it, or is it able or possible to learn each and every day of the past, to learn about or to record each and every day? No. History is the study of the famous events that took place in the past, okay. And for those events only we remember the dates. Some events have date, suppose that a particular battle, okay, that is fought on a particular date. So that is why we remember that particular date, like Battle of Plassey, okay, 1757, okay, 23rd June, we are knowing the date for it, okay. But if I'll ask you that when in India the newspaper started publishing, so there is no one date. When all the people of India started reading newspaper, there is no one day. When all the people of India started drinking tea, there is no one day, okay. So that is the event that took us great amount of time. So that is why history is not only the study of dates, history is the study of the very famous events also. Like you can see here some questions that are the result of your curiosity. When did people begin to drink tea and coffee? When were railways started? And how did people travel long distances before the age of railways? How people got to hear about things before newspapers began to be printed? All such historical questions refer us back to notion of time. That means we have to go back to know about all these things. But time does not have to be always precisely. Always time, we cannot give a particular date or a particular time, dated in terms of particular year or month. Sometimes it is actually incorrect to fix precise date to processes that happen over a period of time. Like Britishers not able to control on us on a very one day. They took some years of time to establish their power over India. Okay, so that is why dates are important, but dates are important with respect of time, and sometimes in history a stretch of some years are also important. Okay, now there was a time when history was fascinated with dates, and we can also say that history is synonymous to dates. That means history means dates, but history is not something that is only related to dates. History is certainly about the change that occur over time. Okay, history is learning about that how things were in the past and how things are today, how much we developed. History about to know about what type of political system was existing in the past and what it is existing in today. How we change, that is more important in the study of history. It is about finding how things were in the past and how things have changed. So why then do we continue to associate history with a string of date? But after that also, why do we study history with the help of dates? So there was a time when history was an account of battles and big events, like we have learned about the Battle of Panipat, the Battle of Haldighati, Battle of Khandwa, and lots of battles were there. It was about rulers and their policies. We have learned about a number of rulers, what was their religious policies, how they were their economic policies, their administration. Regarding this only, whole medieval history and ancient history was there. Historians wrote about the year a king was crowned, when a king became a ruler, when a king became married, when he fought a particular war, okay, when he died, okay, and who become the next successor of the rulers. Like this only we have studied the history. But now in the modern period, we will not be having the rulers, or we will not be having the monarchy. We are not going to learn about history with the respect of rulers, okay. So now the question arises, then which type of dates are important? The dates we select, the dates around which we compose our story of the past, are not important on their own. They become vital because we focus on a particular set of events as important. Suppose that I have given you to write the history of the past 1 year of the school. I have given to different people to write it. All of you I have given this task that you have to write the history of the past 1 year, or write about history when you were class 7th, when you were in class 6th. So what is it possible that you have remembered all the days of class 6th or 7th? No, it is not possible. What you are going to mention, some important things that occur at that time and you are remembering. You have some memory regarding it. You are knowing about it, and maybe for some of the events you are also remembering the dates, or some evidences are there with you, photographs are there, some homework is there, in diary something is written regarding that, so you can take reference. But one thing you will see that if I will provide you this work to 15 students, all the 15 students have different types of history. All of them have written different types of history for that past 1 year. So dear students, history is different from different perspective. Okay, some is going to write about the Independence Day, something happened on that day. One of them will write about the Children's Day, something happened good to that. Okay, so it depends upon the resources that is available, as well as our memory and what we want to write. Okay, what is our perspective? Like that only, if we will talk about the British era, so during the British era, we were having the Governor Generals and the Viceroy. You will see that the history of modern period will revolve around these Governor Generals and Viceroys who have ruled over us on behalf of the British Queen or King. Okay, so that is only in every perspective, in different people's perspective, history is different. Dates are also important, but dates are important with some specific events. So much priority we used to give to the events. Now we will learn about what is periodization. Periodization simply means dividing something into period. Like in your class also, you come to school for 6 hours, and those 6 hours are divided, okay, in equal time intervals. Okay, so like that only, history also has periodization. History, or the Indian history, is also divided into periods. But it is not about the equal periods. It is about the same characteristics. On the basis of same characteristics, the period has been divided. Okay, so the division was given by James Mill. We will be learning about James Mill. He has divided the Indian history into Hindu, Muslim and British. And some historians, like the Western historians, have divided Indian history into ancient, medieval and modern. But the Indian historians believe that it should be divided as ancient, medieval, and in place of modern, there should be colonial. Okay. Now let us move forward. James Mill, a European historian, divided Indian history into 3 periods, that are Hindu, Muslim and British, in the year 1817. He tried to categorize an age through the religion of the chief rulers of the time. That means, what was the basis of the James Mill periodization? That was the religion of the rulers. To do so is to suggest that the lives and practices of the others do not really matter. But this periodization of James Mill shows that he did not take care of the life of the other people. His history only revolves around the rulers. Okay, and this is also not true that only Muslim rulers were there during the medieval period. Only Hindu religion was there during the ancient period. During ancient period there was Jainism also, Buddhism also. During medieval period there was Islam also, Hinduism also, Jainism, Buddhism also. Okay, so and also the rulers of ancient India did not all share the same faith. Okay, they belongs to different faiths. Some were the followers of Jainism, some were the followers of Buddhism. The European historians interpreted that the British rule represented all the forces of progress and civilization. Such a conception is not acceptable today. Even the British historian, that is James Mill, also said that the Indian history before the arrival of the Britishers were a very dark phase. No development took place during the rule of ancient and the medieval rulers. This is wrong. Okay, so some Western historians classify Indian history. Now one more classification came, and some Western historians classify the Indian history into ancient, medieval as well as modern period. Now there is also a conflict regarding the modern term. The periodization depended upon the thought that why modern term is used was because modern period was a time of growth of all the forces of modernity, that is science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality have introduced during that time. That was the period, modern period was the period when in all over the world lots of revolutions was taking place. Many countries are fighting for their freedom. Okay, French Revolution, American Revolution, okay, Germany and all those world war was taking place. Everyone was, means every country was fighting and all these new ideas were coming into existence like science, reasoning, democracy, liberty, equality. So that is why it is considered as modern. But the Indian historian said that is India or was India modern or developed during the rule of the Britishers? They believe that no, there was no such kind of conception like liberty, freedom. We were under the Britishers. We were the colony of the Britishers. That is why we cannot use the term modern. Okay, but we can see that there was no equality, liberty or democracy under the British rule of the modern period. There was no economic growth and progress of the Indians under the Britishers, as well as, so we cannot use modern word for the modern history, and they suggested that it should be colonial. Okay, after this, so many historians therefore refer to the period as colonial. Now there is here is a summary. You can take the screenshot, okay, so that you can just have all the things together. James Mill, a Scottish economist and a political philosopher also. He published a book. The name of his book was A History of British India in 1817. In that book only he has provided the periodization of the Indian history in Hindu, Muslim and British. Okay. Now what Mill's suggestion, he said that Britishers civilized India. Before Britishers, India was not civilized. There were no manners, there was no art, institutions, law were not there. All things were said by him only. After that we have another classification that was also given by the Western historians, and that was ancient, medieval and modern. Regarding this modern term also, there was so much conflict among the Indian historians. They were not ready to accept the word modern and they replaced it with the term colonial. Okay, we have learned about this also. Now there is a scene that what is colony and what is colonialism. Okay, what is colonialism? When a powerful country subjugate a weaker country. Okay, weaker country, that means that particular country is not having a strong ruler. Okay, they are not able to unite the country together. So in that case, taking the advantage of that situation or weak situation of a particular country, a powerful country used to subjugate, that means overpower the weak country for exploiting the resources of that particular country. Okay, so the powerful country used to exploit the weak country socially also, economically also and politically also. They try to make it their colony. Okay, if they have, and they exhaust all the resources of the colony. So the country that is more powerful, that will be considered as imperial country. Okay, and the country that is the weak country will be known as colony. That means if we will discuss about the case of India and the British, India was the weak country which was overpowered by British country or by Britain. So British or Britain was the imperial country and India became their colony. For almost 200 years, Britishers exhausted the resources of India and they make it their colony. Not only exhausted the resources, they have also made it, or they have also established their political control over India. Okay, they started ruling over us. What about a colony, or what is the situation of the colony? Colony, the country that is overpowered or the weak country, after the subjugation of the stronger country, that weak country has no right. Okay, the people of the country started suffering. There was no foreign policy, there is no military. Okay, the particular colony has no sovereign or supreme authority over it. Okay, the country started ruling according to the overpowered country or according to the imperial country. Okay, now there is some difference between colonialism and imperialism. There are two words, one is colonialism and the other one is imperialism. So what is colonialism? Have a look. The policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers and exploiting it economically. So what is colonialism? It is a policy in which a particular country acquire the weak country either fully or partially, मतलब half or fully, okay. Occupying it with settlers means they send their people to that country to live, like Britishers sent their people to India and they started living here and they started, okay, exploiting us economically, okay. One nation conquers and rules over other regions, ठीक है. एक one nation conquer the other nation and started ruling over that nation. What is imperialism? The policy of extending a country's power and influence through colonization, use of military force or other means, like Britishers did. In starting, Britishers came here as a trading power, okay. They started trading over us. Some people came to India from Britain. They started making their factories here or trading post here. They started trading here. Take it slowly they started exploiting our farmers, artisans, okay. Till that time they were not spreading themselves. They were not establishing their political control over India. Their motto was only to make us economically weak. But later on they become imperial power, because after that, after the Battle of Plassey, they started thinking about conquering India politically also. They wanted to make us our colony and they started extending their power in the Indian territory. So that is what we call imperialism, creating an empire, expanding into other countries and exercising power through sovereignty or indirect mechanism of control. Slowly they started ruling over us. They formed the government, the Queen Elizabeth or the rulers, those who were sitting in Britain. They sent their representative here and those were the governor generals and viceroys, and those representatives started ruling over us. So this was the situation of India, and as here we have learned about some of the new concept, that is what is colonialism. When a powerful country subjugate a weaker country, that is colonialism. We have learned about what is colony. Colony is the weak country that is subjugated by the powerful country or by the imperial country. Okay, we have learned about that. Periodization of history, two types of periodization we learned. One was James Mill's suggestion. He said that it should be divided as Hindu, Muslim and British. And why it was opposed? Because it was divided on the basis of religion. Okay. Later on, Western historians also gave their periodization of Indian history, in that it was ancient, medieval and modern. Today we are following that periodization only. But some Indian historians oppose this periodization also, and they said that the modern period should be replaced from the colonial period because there was no freedom in India at that time. So this was the chapter or the part first of this chapter. In the second part, we will be discussing about that what are the sources of history or what are the sources for the study of the modern history. Like in the ancient and for the medieval period, we have literary sources also, we have archaeological sources also, like autobiographies were there, books were there, magazines were there, manuscript were there. During ancient we have inscriptions, coins, monuments. So for this modern history also we have a lots of sources to learn about the modern history, from which historians have constructed the history. We will be learning about the sources of history in the next part. Please watch the video. If you have any problem, ask in the online classes, and please try to continue the online classes. Okay, so thank you for watching, children.